David Daoud of Compliance Standards, and welcome to this IntelliTAD 18th edition. So here's where the ITAD and electronics recycling industry stands heading into the rest of the year, that is generally back half of 2026. Hyperscalers' demand is still pulling equipment through the disposition channel. The M&A market in the United States specifically is being reshaped by foreign capital. And thirdly, buyers are starting to pay for governance over volumes. These are points that are going to be addressed in this brief, the details of which are listed in this webpage. So those are three developments that are worth revisiting that we've been tracking here at Compliance Standards. Now begin with demand, which is structural rather than speculative. What I mean by that is hyperscalers are putting $725 billion into AI infrastructure this year, up 77% from last year. And that spending is clearly already showing up in the current refresh pipeline as a steady inflow of enterprise-grade equipment with real value. By hyperscalers, I am talking about four companies only. So memory pricing has flipped just as sharply. DDR4 now trades above HBM3E contract pricing, so a fully loaded used server can be actually worth more than it was new. And that situation is likely to hold through late 2027, and it should be shaping procurement and inventory decisions now. The second dynamic is consolidation. 22 ITAD deals closed over the last 22 months. Deal pace has been flat, but what we noticed is the buyer composition has changed substantially. Private equity platforms such as Paladin and DMD Systems are no longer executing opportunistic bolt-ons. They're actually running stated roll-up programs. Materials companies with no prior ITAD history, think of Sumitomo, Mitsubishi, Korea Zinc, are now taking equity positions drawn by hardware lifecycle flow rather than service revenue. Korea Zinc, as you know, is building a smelter in Tennessee specifically to process materials sourced from US e-scrap. One question hasn't been raised publicly. Much of that foreign capital is securing feedstock for refining that still takes place overseas. That arrangement satisfies the letter of onshoring policy, that is, the smelter sits in Tennessee, but not necessarily its intent, given that ownership sits in Tokyo or Seoul. The distinction obviously deserves closer scrutiny than it's gotten. A related shift is in what buyers are actually paying for: governance, not processing capacity. This is indeed a confirmation of what we've been seeing for months. And at the risk of repeating myself, I'd say that processing capacity alone does not seem to command the premium it once did. In this context, think of Telamon, a company that has nothing to do with ITS at Disposition, but still a company that acquired retired IT specifically for program management and chain of custody capability. And so operators with genuine documentation and capabilities in terms of compliance depth are likely to see more momentum than the ones that continue to focus on processing. Two companies illustrate where this is headed. We've profiled Paladin and ERI. Paladin's rare earth joint venture is scaling from 40 to 300 metric tons a year, recovering metals that conventional refiners don't report on at all. ERI, as you know, opened operations in Vietnam weeks after launching in Japan and says further international expansion is coming. Both are positioning to establish formal ITAD infrastructure in Asia ahead of competitors. A final note here, we released a new presentation for CIOs and enterprise IT decision makers specifically. We called it the Refresh Cycle Reckoning, CIO Playbook for Doing More with the IT assets you already own. So the core argument is that memory and storage price shocks have broken the old refresh math. IBM CEO Arvind Krishna pointed to clients pulling budgets forward into server storage and memory ahead of expected price increases. Blended DDR5 server memory prices rose 80 to 90% quarter over quarter into the Q1 2026. The presentation lays out 6 moves CIO can make in response, from replacing calendar-based refresh cycles with needs-based ones to treating end-of-life hardware recovery as a financial function instead of just compliance checkbox. To view the presentation, just visit our B2B channel at the Bright Talk Network, and here is the link. Thank you.